keep us down and take away all of our all the great things that our people have accomplished and done in the past, and give credit to everyone else and raise everyone else up. And those days are over. Again, I'm going to say Happy New Year. So we're celebrating all weekend long, and as you can see, things are ramping up every single day. They have to do these things. They have to do all these different things to try to keep themselves relevant, because their power and their glory have been taken away. We're going to be getting into some pretty heavy information right now. We're going to be getting into the testament of the 12 patriarchs, and we're going to be taking a look at the testament of Asher, the 10th son of Jacob, and Zilpah, okay? And we're going to be talking about, a little bit, get a deeper understanding about when it talks about how David is a man after the Most High's own heart. We're going to be getting into that topic because it's a very spiritual understanding. We've gotten the other nations to try to always give their opinions about what it means and everything else, but it gives you a lot of understanding about the spirit world and about how the Most High prepares us for our missions before we come here. How we all have a mission. We all have a duty for the Most High. And He prepares us before we get here. So before we even show up on the scene, the Most High has already prepared us for the mission that He has set up for us. And that's kind of what we're going to be getting into today. We have missions, but so does the adversary. They have missions as well. Okay? So, let's get into it. We're going to be getting into the Old Testament pseudepigrapha. Right there at the bottom. That's where we're going to start. Okay, and you're going to start to see why they've taken these books out. They've hidden this information because it's given cover for all the horrible things that they've done. And also you got many of our own people who are still trying to follow the priesthood of Mahan, follow their churches, and still give them credence. And as far as like what is godly, what's going to get you into heaven, how you're supposed to conduct yourself in order to be chosen here at the end. Even at the end, we're still having people trying to use what the church and how the church has set things up as being somehow some type of justification for who's going to make it to heaven or not. And it's like if you came from a certain realm, you're going back to that realm. I used to always think about that. So if I came from the fifth heaven or whatever, or the sixth heaven or the third heaven, but I came down here and I was given a certain mission, and maybe I didn't conduct myself the way that these people here say I should have conducted myself. Does that mean that all of a sudden now I earned a trip to hell? Because the people here who have nothing to do with the Most High have like a negative view of my conduct. Because as you can see, everything that they say has been nothing but lies. So if they're saying certain people, have done this wrong and that wrong, whatever else, but they never admit to their wrongdoings, why should we care about what they say? Why should we care about, trying to act godly according to the Gentile standards? You see? We should always think about that. And like I said, it starts to make way more sense. And we got a lot of people who are still trying to use Gentile parameters to express godliness here. But let's get into this. A copy of the Testament of Asher. The things he spoke to his sons in the 125th year of his life. While he was still healthy, he said to them, "Listen, children of Asher, to your father, and I will show you everything that is right in the sight of God. God has granted two ways to the sons of men. Right? So he's given two ways to the sons of men. Two mindsets, two lines of action, two models, and two goals. All right? There's only two goals. All right? Everyone's working towards the goal that the Most High has already predetermined for that each and every individual. Okay? Accordingly, everything is in pairs. The one, over against the other. The two ways are good and evil. Concerning them are two dispositions within our breasts that choose between them. Okay? If the soul wants to follow the good way, all of its deeds are done in righteousness, and every sin is immediately repented. So it doesn't say you're not going to sin. It just says that, you are going to sin, but every sin is repented. Does that mean you repent of every single sin? Or is it just repented? It's just kind of like it's already forgiven. Because, as we were growing up and as we were, doing our dirt, whatever else, I wasn't always asking for forgiveness, or I was thinking about, hey, maybe this is wrong or whatever else, but still would do wrong things. Just like Paul was always talking about trying to do the right thing, but always, ended up doing the wrong thing. And the things I shouldn't do, I do, and the things I should do, I don't do. Because, we're going to sin. But the churches make it sound like, the only way you're going to make it to heaven is if you don't sin. And if you don't sin, but if you do sin, you got to pray to white Jesus, you got to pray to Caesarea for him to blot out your sins. But let's continue. Okay? Again, all of its deeds are done in righteousness, and every sin is immediately repented. Contemplating just deeds and rejecting wickedness, the soul overcomes evil and uproots sin. But if the mind is disposed towards evil, all of its deeds are wicked. Driving out the good, it accepts the evil and is overmastered by Beliar. Okay, who, even when good is undertaken, presses the struggle so as to make the aim of his action into evil, since the devil's storehouse is filled with the venom of the evil spirit. So it doesn't say that people who are evil don't ever do anything good. They still do good things. They still might participate in good deeds. But ultimately, whatever it is that they're working towards is going to be worked and twisted into evil. Just as the opposite is, even if we are making mistakes and we're doing things wrong, ultimately our deeds are going to work for the plan of the Most High and work out for good. Okay, so that's why when you start looking at our people in the Bible, and it looks like they're doing all these bad things, all these, they're committing all these sins, but ultimately, even if they're committing those sins and doing those bad things, they've already been given a certain disposition in their heart, and all those things are always working towards the good, towards the righteousness, towards the will of the Most High. Okay? So let's go to 2. The soul, they say, may in words express good for the sake of evil, but the outcome of the action leads to evil. Okay? Is that not like the churches? Churches have been always talking about all the good that they do. They talk about all the great things that they've accomplished, how they've fed the poor. They've taken the good, the word of God to the four corners of the earth. How they taught Jesus, and they took Jesus all over the place. And, and they've civilized all these people. But ultimately, these supposed good deeds that they've been doing work towards evil, work towards Beliar. They work to raise up evil. Okay? It says, there is a man who has mercy on the one who serves him and performing an evil deed. There are two aspects of this, but the whole is wicked. And there is a man who loves the one who does the evil, as he himself is himself involved in evil, so that he would choose to die in evil for the evildoer's sake. There are also two aspects of this, but the whole situation is evil. Although indeed love is there, yet in wickedness is evil concealed. In name it is as though it were good, but the outcome of the act is to bring evil. Someone steals, deals unjustly, robs, cheats, but yet has pity on the poor. This also has two aspects, but is evil as a whole. Is that not the churches? Right? Is that not the governments of this world? Right? Is that not the banking system of this world? Oh, I'm going to give you a loan so that you guys can buy a house, but ultimately, they're hoping that you can't make those payments. They give you unjust terms so that you can lose the house and give, the money you've already given to the banks. They get to keep that and they get the house back. When they set up all these laws, they talk about these laws are good, but ultimately they've set up for evil. When they don't allow you to unionize, when they don't allow you to get Social Security, when they allow you to go and fight for their country, and they promise you the GI Bill and you come back and you can't have access to it. So it sounds good that, oh yeah, we're going to go together, we're going to work together to bring democracy to the world, which is ultimately demon rule to the world. And we're going to have all these great programs for you, but they're going to come back and they're going to perform evil by not giving you the access to the programs that they promised you. So see, that's why you can't look at the outward appearances of things and just think that that's how things are. You got to look at the spirit that is behind a lot of these actions, but you can't always see it. That's why the Most High says He knows the heart. He knows the heart of people. So people say, come to church with us, come do this with us. Ultimately, you're going to these churches, and at the end of the day, the Most High is going to tell you that, your actions were evil, even though you thought they were good. And on the surface, they sound good. Oh, I'm going to go and, help the poor. I'm going to go out and give money to the people, the needy. I'm going to go out and do this and do that. But ultimately, you're going to lead them into a church that's going to keep them away from the Most High and keep them away from truth and have them continue in evil. Because this is much deeper than, what you can see. Okay? Let's continue. Again, although indeed love, I'm going to go there. Someone steals, deals, unjustly robs, cheats, but yet has pity on the poor. This also has two aspects, but is evil as a whole. He who cheats his neighbor provokes God's wrath. He who serves falsely before the Most High, and yet has mercy on the poor, disregards the Lord who uttered the law's commands. He provokes him, and yet he alleviates the plight of the poor, day laborer. He defiles the soul and takes pride in his own body. He kills many, yet has pity on a few. That's it. Is that not the churches? Is that not Babylon? Kills many, right? But has pity on a few. And he wants you just to see the few that he has had pity on, but ignore all the ones that he's killed. That's huge. You see what I'm saying? That's what and that's what's going on right here in this world right now. He defiles the soul and takes pride in his own body. He kills many, yet has pity on a few. I said that's all these religions have killed many and had pity on a few, and act as if they're also, done something godly. Just like they kill all of our people here in the Americas, but then they go to Africa and act as if, I'm going to build a church here and I'm going to do this over here. They have pity on a few. But but they ignore all the ones that they killed here in the Americas. The hundreds of millions, if not billions, of people they've killed here. They ignore them, but they go and have pity on the few over in Africa and act as if they're doing something. And the whole world goes along with this. Okay? This also has two aspects, but is evil as a whole. Someone else commits adultery and is sexually promiscuous, yet is abstemious in his eating. While fasting, he is committing evil deeds. Through the power of his wealth, he ravages many. And yet, in spite of his excessive evil, he performs the commandments. This also has two aspects, but is evil as a whole. Such persons are hares, because although they are halfway clean, in truth, they are unclean. For this, is what God has said on the tables of the commandments. And like I said, when you look at the commandments and the things that you eat and the things you don't eat, those are also they're physical, but they're also spiritual. And I want to say in the Lost Scriptures books, the book of Barnabas, it goes into that information and the spiritual understanding about the dietary law. And you can read that on your own. Okay? It's not just as simple as just reading something, reading a book, and thinking that you got it. It's deeper than just that. Chapter 3. Okay? But you, my children, do not be two-faced like them, one good and the other evil. Rather, cling only to goodness, because in it the Lord is at rest, and men aspire to it. Flee from the evil tendency, destroying the devil by your good works. Okay? For those who are two-faced are not of God, but they are enslaved to their evil desires, so that they might be pleasing to Beliar and to persons like themselves. Okay? So, even though we might sin, even though we make mistakes, we are ultimately still trying our best to perform good works for the Most High. Okay? That is our aim and that is our goal. Okay? Look at 4. For persons who are good, who are single-minded, even though they are considered by the two-faced to be sinners, and the other nations, we are considered to be, sinners to them. Okay? They are righteous before God. For many who destroy the wicked perform two works. Okay? Now check this part out. Even, we're destroying the wicked, but that doesn't mean that we're perfect and we don't make mistakes. That's not what that's saying. Okay? It says good and evil, but it is good as a whole. Okay? So again, listen to that. For many who destroy the wicked perform two works, good and evil, but it is good as a whole. So we perform good works and evil works. Okay? But it is good as a whole. And again, that's because of that spirit the Most High has put in us from jump. Right? From jump. When we got here. Didn't say we weren't going to sin. Most High already knew we were going to sin. That's why there's all these curses that have already been, prophesied that we were going to go through, because he already knew that we were going to sin. Okay? For many who destroy the wicked perform two works. Okay, we got that part, but it is good as a whole. Because evil is uprooted and destroyed. One person hates the man who thus is two-faced, but his work is good as a whole. Because he imitates the Lord, not accepting the seeming good as though it were truly good. Now see, this whole world has all these things that they say are good. They have all these, things that are to this world are good. Going to church on Sunday is good. Listening to the priest and the pastor is good. Going and getting your degree and going through the whole education system is good. Not questioning authority is good. Supporting your country blindly and don't think for yourself, that's good. Definitely not thinking for yourself, That's good. Listening to someone just because they have a certain title, they have a master's degree, a PhD, that's good. Just believing that your politicians would never lie to you, that's good. You see what I'm saying? Like, this society has many things that they say are good, but our people are going to be like, hold on, we're not just going to accept this because we're not going to accept things as being good just because they tell us that. Okay? So again, not accepting the seeming good as though it were the truly good. Another person does not want to see any pleasant days among the convivial, lest they disgrace the body and pollute the soul. This also has two aspects, but